In the cradle of time, before the sands of Egypt had borne the weight of mortal footsteps, there was a power that hummed beneath existence itself. It was neither divine nor mortal, neither good nor evil. It was Heka, the force of magic, the current that tied the gods to creation and mortals to the divine. To understand Heka was to grasp the threads of the cosmos, to mold the unseen into the tangible. Yet such power was never meant to be wielded lightly. Legends whisper that Heka was older than Ra, the sun god, and that even he, bright and unyielding, had invoked its name to rise each dawn. It was said that the goddess Ma'at, keeper of balance, braided her eternal truths with Heka's power, ensuring the world did not collapse into chaos. The scribes of the temples recorded these truths with trembling hands, their hieroglyphs etched into stone as offerings to the unseen force. But Heka did not belong solely to the gods. Mortals, too, sought its embrace, though their fingers were unsteady and their hearts tainted with fear. Among them was an ancient priestess named Neferet, whose name has long been erased from the annals of history. Neferet was no mere seeker of Heka, she claimed to hear its voice. They say she did not pray to the gods, but bargained with the shadows between their thrones. The tale of Neferet begins in the obsidian darkness of a forgotten temple, buried beneath the sands of Karnak. The temple bore no inscriptions, no marks of devotion to any god. It was a place not of worship, but of listening. There, she was said to have chanted the lost names of creation, her voice echoing with a rhythm that bent the will of the air itself. The words were not her own, they were spoken to her by the voice of Heka, a whisper that slithered like smoke in the depths of her mind. Through her rituals, Neferet is said to have summoned an entity, one older than the gods themselves, birthed in the primordial chaos before existence. The entity offered her knowledge, secrets of life and death, the art of binding souls, and the forbidden path to immortality. It is said that she traded her reflection for this power, and from that moment onward, no mirror could capture her image. Her eyes, once clear as the Nile at dawn, turned dark as the abyss. Villages near Karnak began to tell of shadows that moved without light and whispers that filled the night. Crops withered, livestock fell ill. Travelers claimed to see a figure cloaked in black, her footsteps soundless as she wandered the desert under the pale light of the moon. Where she walked, jackals followed, their glowing eyes watching, waiting. The gods, it seemed, grew restless. Ra's light dimmed for 7 days, and storms battered the land. The priests of Amun whispered that Neferet had upset the divine order, her use of Heka a defiance too great to ignore. But the gods do not strike swiftly, no, they watch and they wait, testing the mettle of those who dare wield their power. And so, Neferet continued, her whispers to Heka growing louder with each passing night. But power, no matter how ancient, always demands a price. There is a theory whispered among mortals in hushed tones, one that speaks of strings, vibrations, and the endless weaving of existence. The wise of the modern world call it string theory, but the ancients knew it by another name, the Song of Heka. To them, the universe was not static nor silent, it was alive, pulsating with an eternal symphony. Each note, each vibration, was a thread, binding worlds, binding gods, binding mortal souls to the ever-turning loom of reality. And Neferet, the cursed priestess, had found a way to pluck these threads. The temple in which she dwelled was not merely stone and shadow, but a nexus, a point where the threads of Heka converged and resonated. The inscriptions carved deep into the temple's foundations were not prayers but formulas, geometric representations of the strings that wove the cosmos. Neferet, guided by the whispers of Heka, had learned to decipher these runes, each one a key to the hidden frequencies of creation. She no longer walked among mortals, she walked within the threads themselves. The villagers who feared her spoke of the eerie resonance that filled the air around her, a sound both inaudible and inescapable, like the hum of 1,000 invisible strings. Those who drew too near would describe an overwhelming sensation of vertigo, as if their bodies were being pulled apart and rewoven into shapes they could not comprehend. Neferet's power grew, but her understanding became a curse. She realized that the threads were not infinite nor unbreakable. Each vibration she summoned created ripples, and each ripple tore at the fragile harmony of the cosmos. The gods had woven the universe with precision, each string tuned to perfection. But Neferet, in her hunger, had begun to twist and snap the threads, creating echoes of chaos that reverberated across time and space. It is said that on the night of her final ritual, the fabric of reality itself trembled. Neferet sought to pluck the ultimate string, the one that lay at the heart of the cosmos, the primordial chord, the first vibration that had birthed light from darkness and order from chaos. The temple shook with her incantations, the air thick with the smell of burning myrrh and coppery blood. Her voice rose, not as a mortal's, but as an instrument tuned to the frequency of creation. The gods, watching from their thrones, could remain silent no longer. Ra unleashed a torrent of light, the very fire of creation, upon the temple. Osiris, lord of the underworld, stretched forth his hand to bind her soul. And Ma'at, the weaver of balance, descended to restore the broken threads. But Neferet had already struck the primordial chord. For one terrible moment, all of existence resonated with its sound. The stars dimmed, the Nile reversed its flow, and even the gods faltered. Mortals spoke of dreams in which they saw themselves as fragments of light, bound to endless strings that unraveled before their eyes. Some awoke screaming, unable to bear the knowledge of their own fragility. And then, silence. When the gods' wrath subsided, the temple was no more. Neferet had vanished, her name erased from the lips of mortals. Yet the echoes of her act remained. The strings she had plucked vibrated still, creating fractures in the tapestry of reality. Where those fractures lay, strange things began to occur, places where time folded upon itself, where shadows moved against the light, and where whispers, like the voice of Heka, could still be heard. Even now, the wise claim that the hum of the cosmos carries her mark, a subtle distortion in the harmony of existence. Scientists who speak of vibrating strings and hidden dimensions unknowingly echo her heresy, daring to glimpse the ancient truths she once unveiled. But those who listen too closely, who seek to pluck the threads as she did, are warned by the old tales. Heka is not a gift, it is a voice. And once you hear it, it never lets you go. And so, the song of Heka lingers, a haunting melody woven into the silence of the stars. Some say Neferet still walks between the threads, her form dissolved into the very fabric she once sought to master, her whispers hidden in the vibrations that cradle existence. To listen for her is to court madness, for the cosmos does not forgive those who would dare unmake its harmony. Beware the hum in the quiet places, the faint tremor in the air, for it is there that her shadow stirs. And when you hear the voice, soft as a breath yet vast as eternity, remember, it is not the gods who answer, but the void itself.